It's now a runoff between Russell Guerard and William Cogswell for House District 110. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Russell Guerard.
So,
Quintin,
it is so good to see you again.
it's always good to see you.
I appreciate this.
Yes, sir.
You have gotten some great news recently. Just this morning I was scrolling on your Facebook page and you said the following: endorsed by 4 Mount Pleasant councilmen. These gentlemen are visionaries in fighting against disproportionate development and our quality of life. Thank you, Joe, Gary, Will, and Jim. If I'm fortunate enough to win, I won't let you down.
Very honored to have those 4 gentlemen endorse me. They understand the pressure that's being applied to this area, Mount Pleasant, Charleston, disproportionate development, the growth, and they know that I understand how important it is to rein in everything and let's grow responsibly. And they understand that, and I just feel very fortunate that they've endorsed me. I'm lucky.
The runoff. You've said the following: folks, I am in a runoff. My opponent who wants to raise your taxes. Let's not let this happen. We are taxed enough in this state. I need y'all's help on June 28th. When you think of June 28th, what goes to your mind?
5 days from now, lots of work to do, lots of people to see, both in Mount Pleasant and downtown, try to get our message out. I don't want to raise our gas tax until I feel comfortable that we've had real reform within the DOT. The only thing a gas tax will do, Quintin, is it's going to raise the price of gas, and it's going to take money out of your pocket and my pocket, and our roads are not going to get any better until we have real reform within the DOT and the State Infrastructure Bank. I just have a problem giving the General Assembly additional funds with no guarantee to where that money will go, and there is no guarantee where that additional money will go. But it's coming out of your pocket, my pocket, the hardworking citizens of this state, and we get taxed enough. One of the things people say is, well, our gas tax is one of the lowest in the nation. That's true, but when you add our gas tax, our state tax, our federal tax, our sales tax, our county tax, our property tax, our hospitality tax, it goes on and on. We're one of the highest taxed states in the union, and we can't keep hitting the good people of the state up for additional money. We've got to be smarter. Columbia's got to be smarter with the money that they've got, and I'd look at a user fee is definitely the way to go to fix our roads. Gas tax down the road would be something I'd look at hard, but until we rein in things that are dysfunctional within the DOT and the State Infrastructure Bank, I can't with good conscience approve a gas tax. Just doesn't make sense to me.
Speaking of which, 526. A lot of people basically said that's dead. Is it dead to you?
526 is not a high priority for me because I believe I-26 needs to be widened from here to Columbia, 4 to 8 lanes, east and westbound. I believe 526 will be built at some point. Right now, we don't have the money for it. The I-26 is the spine that connects the low country to the rest of the state. It needs to be widened. There's too much traffic. It's dangerous. Too many cars. More and more people moving here every day, and it gets a lot more traffic than 526 does. So from a priority standpoint, I think the state needs to focus on I-26. Those are my thoughts there, Quintin.
A hotel moratorium.
I believe the city, and I spoke against the city had a meeting last month at the Charleston Museum where you could discuss things that were going on as far as hotels. And Mayor Tecklenburg approached City Council with a moratorium, and it didn't pass. But I was in favor of the moratorium. I believe right now we have 15 additional hotels in the pipeline that haven't been built yet. And with the streets being so crowded with traffic, we need to put a moratorium on that, figure out where everything is going. Let's let the dust settle with the things that we have. One of the things that I'd like to see done, I'd love to see our cruise ships move further up the Cooper River. It makes sense from a traffic standpoint. It makes sense from a a historical standpoint, because when I'm in Market Street and I see the gigantic cruise ship at the end of Market Street, it doesn't sit well with me. Additionally, I'd like to see shore power. I think it makes sense if we can quit polluting the air that so many people breathe right around this area. I think it'll make things a lot better too. So these are all good problems, Quintin. There are people want to come here, and that's a good thing. We just need to rein it in and figure out the best way to make it work for everybody from a quality of life standpoint.
And I want to walk back down memory lane to June 14th. Obviously, there was low turnout, but you're now in the runoff with your other opponent. Where are you emotionally with that?
I'm fine. When you have 5 people in a race, you just hope for a runoff. So I'm very fortunate that we made the runoff. I feel we made the runoff because we spent a lot of time in Mount Pleasant. We knocked on 3,500 doors in the Mount Pleasant area, and Mount Pleasant really pushed me into the runoff. This week we're spending a lot of time downtown Charleston, where I didn't get to spend much time. So that's where we're really focusing a lot of our time. But of course we'll be back over to Mount Pleasant this weekend. But putting a lot of time and effort into getting the vote out downtown, and I feel good about Tuesday. My opponents that aren't in the race anymore, we were basically agreed on no gas tax. We were all 3 of us were pro-life, and I feel that a lot of the people that supported Trey Harrell and Eddie Phipps have come over to me. I've gotten a lot of calls, please keep it up. The 2 differences between me and my opponent is my opponent wants to raise your taxes, and he's pro-choice, and he doesn't live and own property in the district. So those are 3 pretty big deals for me. I want to keep taxes low. I want to. I'm pro-life. I believe life begins at conception. It's a no-brainer for me. And I live and own property in the district. My wife and I have raised our 3 children downtown and been in the same location for 12 years. Even though I was born and raised here, but we've been in the same location downtown for 12 years. So, but like I've said before, whether you've been here 50 years or 1 year, we all move here because we love this place we call the Low Country. It's pretty special.
And I was just thinking this too. Day one, if you were elected state representative, what would you do? Day one.
The day one, I would go and try to make as many friends and meet as many of the other legislators, both Senate and House members, as I could, because it's all about relationships up there in Columbia, and I feel that going around, shaking hands, meeting everybody with a big smile, saying I'm glad to be here is probably the best way that I can kick off representing District 110 down here in Mount Pleasant, Charleston.
Russell Guerard, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely, Quintin.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.